What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? You are on the sidelines with the Sideline guys. And today, I have the honor of being joined once again by my esteemed co host, my brother in arms, the pod father himself, the reason why we are all here today, my guy, Derrick Myers. How's it going?
All is well, brother. How you doing?
Doing phenomenal, right? Can't get better. Living the damn dream.
Yes, sir.
Holidays are right here, right? We have a breather on the horizon, brother, and I can't wait for it.
Almost here. I was actually just telling Mariah, it feels like Christmas like sped up. The time period between Thanksgiving and Christmas sped up, but the lead up to Thanksgiving was slow as hell. Usually it's always reverse. So I don't know what the hell happened, but I'm glad we're a week away. I'm glad. Be
Mhm.
nice to relax and chill out. So
Yeah, I think once our backs got unleashed, right, for Thanksgiving,
yeah.
containing them back, that just took up so much bandwidth. Now we just speeding. Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes sense. It makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie though, that's a theory that I also subscribe to. I was waiting on Thanksgiving. We're like, Thanksgiving's almost here. I had a
yeah,
vacation plan too, right? So you looking
yeah,
forward to it on top of it. And then
yeah.
now, right now, it's like, but wait, hold on. These bills gotta get paid too. Hold on.
you, you know what I think also messes up with it? Buying gifts.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah.
Every year, I feel like I'm gonna buy some gifts early and save some time. I never do it.
You know what's
I
funny?
never
I
do
started December 1st. I bought three of the main people I needed to get gifts. So I was like, yeah, I'm good.
it. Yeah,
Nah, nah, nah. I sat back these last 2 weeks, right? I've been doing all kind of OT, right? These shits, we gotta make this shit work. And
yeah,
now I'm like, hold on, I thought I was ready, right? Now I'm nowhere near, brother. So we
yeah,
got work to do.
yeah, yeah.
It's all
I,
right.
I'll be going till Christmas Eve.
And right after Christmas on that 26th, my ass got a double, but it's all
Oh
good,
yeah,
right? We're gonna have a great time and spending it with fam. That's all that matters.
yes sir.
But of course, we come here for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. And that reason is I was about to say some wild shit. I don't know how to it's twofold, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a huge conversation in the NBA world to address in many different fronts. And then, of course, we've got our regular NFL show to get back to. So you already know if you are enjoying all of this spectacular content where we show off our range and get a people what they want, goddamn it. Make sure you're following the brand at OTS Media Co. on all social media platforms. OTS Media on YouTube. If you're feeling like it, you can find me at Negron MMA on Twitter, as well as the TikTok machine, Chris Negron _, on Instagram. Derek, why don't you let the people know where you're at?
Yes, sir. You can follow me at Derrick _OTS. That's DERRICK, the black way to spell it. And if you're feeling fresh, follow me on Blue Sky. I'm on there now. I'm trying to get away from Twitter. I'm trying to be one of the people to kind of like lessen Elon Musk's pockets. So I'm on Blue Sky as well. I'm trying to make that transition. So follow me on there, Derrick OTS.
I love that we're all in agreement, right? That the propaganda is blatant, right? Why am I
Yeah,
getting why am I getting threads about Dogecoin in my for you
bro,
page? Ladies and gentlemen, I am not interested.
bro.
I've never looked this up in my life, and I know y'all be looking. So this
Yeah,
has to be
they
promoted.
push.
Like
Yeah.
it has to be promoted.
Yes,
Uh,
I'm be honest. I think Blue Sky actually reminds me of Twitter, like when it first started.
Hey, shout out to Threads, right? We've been here a couple times,
Yeah,
bro. I'm
yeah,
waiting to see. I'm gonna see if it
it's
works. I'm gonna see if
fresh.
everyone starts migrating.
Yeah.
I might have to make the plunge myself. So keep us
Yeah.
updated on that one, Derek.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's only right after an action-packed week we get right back into these headlines, and of course, right off the bat, Giannis found a way to freak his way to an NBA Cup, and I think it's only right that we have this conversation coming off of the last conversation we've been having about Giannis and his game. Shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think if the NBA Cup has shown us anything, is that certain teams do need a reason, right, to rally together, right? And I think the big story of this NBA Cup is obviously them getting the W, but second fold, I think it's the way that they changed the way you look at them in the last 6 games. And I think without this format, you could argue they might have not clawed their way out of the hole that they found themselves in. So I'm curious, Derrick, how do you feel about their run now? And then what do you think about the overall NBA Cup and its ability to bring this out of some teams?
We're what, a month and a half into the season?
You
2
need a
months.
rallying cry, bro.
I mean, like, to be completely honest with you, this don't change how I look at Milwaukee, bro. The Lakers won the NBA Cup last year, and then look at what happens to them as soon as the champagne dried up. They went on a losing streak like crazy. I don't think this changes the Milwaukee Bucks, in all honesty. I think one of the biggest things about the Bucks is the fact that they are also dealing with aging complementary pieces, right? So Middleton is aging and hurt. Brooks is aging, or Brook Lopez is aging. So, like, to be completely honest with you, I don't think this changes anything, because I don't feel like they're going to change anything on their roster. So because of that, yeah, okay, they won the NBA Cup. Raise that banner if you want, have a good time with it. Dame finally got some gold. But at the end of the day, this ain't gonna do anything for the Bucks. By the time we get to the playoffs, scratch that. By the time we get to the All-Star game, we're gonna be looking at them sideways, bro. Like, they're not what we thought they were a few years ago. Let's put it like that. They're not what they were a few years ago, and it's because of the fact that they. I think part of it is they had a coaching issue, but then also you let Drew Holiday go. So I think there's a lot of reasons as to why they're not playing the way that they were playing. So yeah, they'll have these little spurts where they look nice. The Trailblazers look nice at certain spurts throughout the year. A couple of seasons ago, they kept doing that. They like, that's just a part of what happens with certain teams. They look good for a little bit, and then they show their true identity. This is not the Bucks. This is not, at least this is not what the Bucks will be by the end of the season. I put it to you like that. It's nice, they got the cup, but that doesn't mean anything. Darvin Ham, though, is undefeated.
Yeah, I gotta ask you about this. So the quality. So I feel what you're saying, and I do agree to a certain extent. I think winning 6 games is winning 6 games, like, no matter how you put it, right?
Yeah.
Well, technically, what is it, 7, right? So
I think
one
so.
of them don't count, right?
Yeah.
One of them shits don't count on the record.
Yeah.
But I think what it really speaks to is figuring out and finding an identity. I think at this stage, a lot more so than the original plan. This offense is running around Giannis, and I think with that theory, right, I want to see how long that can last as far as what that requires from Giannis. But I don't think, once again, I never thought, and this is where I agree with you, that the Bucks are now, hey, we're back where we were. We're ready to contend for a title. Even after this, I still don't feel like that. But the quality of ball, right? You can't deny it. These are great games against good teams. I like Atlanta and what they've been able to do too, and I enjoyed watching that game. It felt like they made it a slow, boring game, and they did the same thing to us and got the win. You could chuck it up to, hey, if we didn't hit these shots, and hey, if they would have hit those shots, but at the end of the day, they're the ones defending us, right? So you got to take it. You got to take the L, or you could get it. I thought it was a competitive game more than the score suggested by the time it was over. I don't really know what it was in that fourth quarter. We just couldn't figure out how to score. And once they kept going downhill, at that point, it was just about Giannis getting a triple-double. Shout out. Hey. Shout out. Pay for my lunch today. But besides all of that, I think it's cool that we could get a storyline like this because of something like this. I think even if they got a 6-game winning streak throughout the season, I think it would be more justifiable to sort of come off of it the way you feel.
Hmm.
But in my opinion, when you get to see what is a championship game in some caliber, I think that does something for a team to be in that position. And it sucks that my team fucking lost in that position. And it's continued to lose in big games, right? It really does sting, especially when our shooting is the big characteristic issue. We're stopping these guys, we're keeping them under 100, but we just can't keep up on that department. And Shea can only do so much on his own. So I hope we learn from this as if it
Yeah.
was a big game, because I think we played like it was. I'm not disappointed or upset with our heart. There was a lot of plays down the stretch though that were a little fucked up. Shout out to the refs for fucking that one up. My guy Lou Dort got absolutely tackled by Giannis, and that shit didn't get called, right? Because it's a jump ball, right? It's a rugby scrum. That's what he called it. So
See, that's the thing too. I think that's the element like you just brought up earlier about his game, how it's gonna translate with him being the one that's initiating the offense. I personally don't think he's gonna be able to carry that. I
yeah,
don't.
a lot of what worked was stepping into 3-pointers here.
Yeah.
And Gary Trent was hitting a lot, and so was Brooke Lopez. I
Yeah.
agree with you. There's only a certain ceiling those guys have, but especially with Trent, right? You sign these guys to be in these positions, and they're working.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Time will tell.
Hey,
Hopefully they can make some improvements to the roster so that they are a more legitimate threat. But finding themselves at 5th place in the East after this little run is not a bad place to be.
not at all. Not at all. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but fuck the Bucks. Next up, it's only right that we talk shit about this NBA All-Star game format, because once again, Derrick, this is the 3rd year, right? We've came on this show and we've had these conversations, and each year they've been changing it, right? They ain't listening. Shout out, hey, Adam Silver, give us a call.
Hey,
They ain't
man.
listening, but they making changes, right? And I respect that. So I think it's only right. I'll read off exactly the specifics of the new format for the 2025 NBA All-Star game, and then we can all react. So it is going to be a mini tournament with 4 teams and 3 games. 24 all-star NBA selections divided evenly into an 8-player teams. 4th team is the Castro Rising Stars champion. Honorary team general members, general manager, TNT analysts Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny, and Candace Parker. Barkley, O'Neal, and Smith draft their team rosters from a pool of 24 NBA All-Star selections. I wonder. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Parker is the GM of Castro Rising Stars champion. I wish that there was some way that that could have been decided on draft night. That would have been cooler, in my opinion. Um, 2 teams meet in one semifinal game, game 1, and the remaining 2 meet in the other, game 2. The winning teams from both of these advance to play in a championship game. Each game is completed once the first team scores to 40. So this is a race to 40 with 2s and 3s. They're trying. They're trying real hard, Derek. They're trying real hard, but I think they're just going in the wrong directions here.
I'm gonna be honest. They keep on this path, and no one's gonna show up for these All-Star games, bro. This don't even make any sense.
Can I explain to you why it does in theory?
Please do.
Can I
Please do.
explain to you why it
Please
does?
do.
um Once again, we need the incentive of what it means, right? But
Hmm.
being able to draft these all-stars and putting these different teams, now these, by the association, these players are playing for something other than the all-star game. They are now playing for this team. How much that matters, it's up to the players once again.
Hmm.
But first of all, that team element, having a team to root for, right? If you're a fan of TNT Sports, maybe Shaq fucking annoys you, right? Maybe you're tired of him and you really like what Chuck has to say, right? You want to root for the mound, round, or rebound, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But where I think it falls short is that this is gonna be it's gonna always feel uneven. Though whoever gets the top 5 players,
Yes.
and one of these teams is gonna stand to get a couple, right? It's
Hmm.
gonna feel super uneven. Now, where this gets interesting and where I like it is this makes the Rising Stars Challenge matter in a big way here. And the fact that we've been inclusive of WNBA players and G League players and people outside of the NBA, this can be a great moment, right, for someone to come in here and get an upset over an all-star level team. Should that ever happen? No, right? Very clearly,
Right.
especially if they're not going to be doing it with only NBA players. So
Mhm.
I think there is something for throwing something fresh out there, right? Let's try something new. I think the NBA Cup was a success because of that, and we could build on it moving forward. We already had some ideas of how we could build on this idea. But what doesn't work for you with the smaller team format? Some of the with 24 All Stars, it's different than it has been. There's a lot more people that can make that roster now. But
Mhm.
if you're a All Star that didn't make it out the first round, you're looked at differently now. No,
No, because like there's nothing on the line here,
but
right?
that's what they're trying to create,
There's
right?
there's nothing on the line right now, bro. Outside of like, hey, I won for Charles Barkley. Like, who cares? Who really cares about that? Like, if you, I I guarantee players like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, these guys don't care about winning for those guys. If you put something at stake, they're going to care. If you put home court advantage in the playoffs at stake, they will care. If you figure out like whether it's a tiebreaker or whatever, we need to go back to East versus West. And to be completely honest with you, the divisions really need to make a lot of sense in this as well. Because I feel like the divisions get ignored all the time, right?
There's no playoff incentive the way there is in football. So
At all. And it should weigh heavy with that. Like that should mean something. You winning your division should have some type of implications for you moving forward into the season. Build on it throughout the year so that by the time the playoffs come, it's like there's high stakes. Again, like we need to figure something out, man, because like four miniature teams means nothing to me. I'm gonna watch it just because I want to see how this plays out. But to be completely honest with you, I don't care. So, like, I'm telling you, I'm gonna watch it just because it's brand new for this season. But after this, they keep up with this format. I don't care. I really don't care. I watched the first time that they did the All Star draft. I watched
mm.
that first time because it was like, all right, this is different. Let me check it out. It was boring, to be honest with you, and I didn't watch it after that. There's no implications to this. I almost feel like the skills challenge has more implications or more on the line than the All-Star game. So this particular format doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't move me. It doesn't move me. You know what? Shaq gets bragging rights if he beats Charles Barkley?
Yeah,
And you give the rising team to Candace Parker? Like, how is this? How does this make this? I don't get it, bro. I'm sorry. I just don't get it. I like the idea of GMs because of the fact that we play fantasy sports. So I like that idea, that element of it, but outside of that, there's nothing on the line. There's nothing on the line. Keep it West Coast, East Coast. If you want to have a particular person be the GM or um the special captain or whatever, you want something like that, cool. But keep it at that. There's nothing like this. I feel like they're going too far off course with this. And it felt like the All-Star game used to mean something 10 plus years ago. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
so I have to ask because I'm genuinely lost right now. I'm not sure. Was that ever at stake for the All Star game? The home court
N-
advantage for playoff
No,
teams? Because
no.
if I'm not mistaken, that's the case in MLB. Like that's how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not? Why not? Let's make it
Something.
matter. Because what
Yeah.
changed, right? Like why did it stop mattering?
It's
Before
not.
it was always West versus East back then. I
Yeah.
always enjoyed watching the games. I remember the year the Galaxy Foams came out. That was a particular
Yeah.
big all-star game where I think Kobe went crazy that game. Damn, I'm fucking old, bro. We some
Yeah.
unks
Kobe
over
went
here.
crazy every
Yo,
All-Star
we
game.
some unks over here, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck. But
Yeah.
yeah, rest in peace to a
Yes.
legend. But yeah, man, I would love to see that come into the fold because then literally there is reason for these guys to play and it becomes an East versus West rivalry. But
Yeah.
that is also manufactured as fuck too, right? Because there's never a kinship between people that are in the East and West. If anything, you look at those people more so like people you're gonna see more often. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a strange thing. And no matter what, you're manufacturing a reason to care. The
Mhm.
ultimate reason to care would be playoff, uh, some sort of playoff advantage. Imagine that would be the case for these 8 players. Imagine they say, "All right, if you are the team that won, any one of these teams. So let's say it just happens to be that by happenstance, there's only 6 teams represented on that 8-player team because they
Mhm.
picked 2 that were on the same team." Now, for those 6 teams, the first round they have, regardless of seeding, they get home court advantage. You don't think everyone's gonna lock in with that?
That's yeah. See, and I think it also matters because if your team, if you have a player from your team that's on the All-Star roster, like, and they win, then I feel like it matters. And then if um you want to say, oh, we have, like, say for example, Tatum and Giannis are on the All-Star team for the East, right? The East wins. So then it's like, okay, if the Celtics face the Bucks in the playoffs, what determines that, they actually get the home court advantage? You know what I say? I say the regular season matchup should come into play. So if you win your matchup 2 out of 3 games, that's one element. The second element would be if you if you how many points you scored during the All-Star game. So if Tatum scored more or had a better stat sheet than Giannis, that would be what weighs in as well. And then another element would be the division. You're seeding in division. So if you have a higher seed in your division, boom. And then you just lay it out. See, 2 out of 3. If you get 2 out of 3 of those criteria, you got home court advantage.
And then you'll also be as a fan, right, watching whoever drafts Tatum. Like, oh,
That's my point.
you are a representative of us at this point.
Yes.
But that is scary though for those teams that got 2 or 3. Then now it's like, well, now what if they got equal chance to go to the to have those different stats? That's an interesting can of worms to put yourself in.
Yeah.
I would love that though. I think even just talking about this example, it got me excited about this format, and we
Yeah.
just agreed before that this format is fucking strange. So
Yeah.
I actually don't like, if anything, that it's a game to 40. Because what the fuck is
Right.
that? Why not make it a 60 or 30? Like
Didn't they do this before where they already like said, "Oh, you gotta score this
for
many
each
points
quarter.
in each quarter"? Hey, bro, I'm not sitting here trying to do math while I'm watching basketball, bro.
Why I gotta calculate how many points you have? Fuck the charity, bro. At this point,
Yeah, I don't
ball
care
out.
about that. Like, I mean, like, all due respect, I do care about the charities, but at the same time, it's like if I'm watching a basketball game, if I'm watching an All-Star game, I'm not really paying attention because every time you go from quarter to quarter, is zeroed out.
And
Like,
I'm
what are we
glad
doing?
that's over. Yeah, that's stupid
Yeah.
as hell. That
So,
was stupid as hell.
like, let's take it back to basics and just factor in the division, the regular season matchup record, and who wins the All-Star game. That's so simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Why are we doing so much?
I love this. I can't wait to see the TikTok edit later of, of Derrick just being entirely taken out of context. Right? He's like, yeah, I like the charities, but and then it goes, right? Like, and we have and we switch and we take them out of context again. I can't wait. Let's fucking get on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, man, I would love to see that. That'd be hilarious.
I like it though. I like it, and I like that this consistently brings the passion out of us. I think this has been a topic that every single year we get fucking
Yeah.
nuts on this show because, bro, at the end of the day, we want to care about this. This meant a lot to us when we were younger, right? Maybe it's the
Yes,
nostalgia, maybe it's
bro.
the age oozing on you guys. But god damn it, this used to mean something.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But you know when the importance went away. The importance went away when guys started caring less about playing in the All-Star game. Like you want the nomination of being an All-Star, but when you actually get on that floor and you're just kind of like, eh. That actually, you know what that turning point was? I forgot what year that was, but you remember when Steph Curry laid down on the floor and let, I think it was Durant, like dunk over him or something like that instead of like playing defense or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was the peak moment where it was like, this is officially the turning point where we don't care.
Yeah, this is what's that shit called? I'm a fucking idiot. What is the Harlem Globetrotters? That's what this is. This is literally what this is at this point. We're not trying to win at all. We're just and one ball.
Yeah. That
and they ain't even doing that either. What the fuck? They just going down and shooting threes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, like we gotta. There has to be some weight in there. So if they do something like that, and yeah, I'm not messing with this whole thing, bro. I'm not messing with this. I really don't like this. Again, I'm gonna watch it just for the sake of the show, and because I want to see how it plays out, but I'm not intrigued.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I'm not gonna lie. It is weird.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do a better job of like explaining the parameters a little and why this should matter.
Yeah.
But personality, this is a star-driven world, ladies and gentlemen, and I can only imagine that their hopes are, hey, the best shit we got going is this show. This best show is the best shit we got going right now.
Yeah.
Ratings are down. I don't think people watching the NBA is down. I just think ratings are down.
Okay, so speaking of that, I think the ratings aspect of things is kind of like overblown, right? Because of the fact that you see people dialed in for sure, like especially if you're looking on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So there are other elements to it. When the league allowed games to be split across multiple channels, streaming services rather, that was one aspect that was just like, dang, bro, like I'm not paying all this money to watch this, but then there's also people like, illegal streaming, like,
hey, ain't nothing illegal about it. Fuck are you talking about?
Do you need to pay for it? Like, that's why
I ain't streaming it. That's the illegal part.
Yeah,
come on. I'm not streaming it.
Exactly.
I got the link.
You're just viewing.
Yeah.
But that's the part of it that I think that people aren't taking into consideration. Like, because the economy is so high in terms of price.
And also, is Amazon giving you your ratings? Is TNT giving all like that? How do you amalgamate this number? There's no, even in today's landscape, Nielsen is not. That's not a. They got to come out with something new. There's no way it's going to be able to accurately represent the way people consume these things. So.
Yes, are the numbers for streaming services? I think this is the argument that a powerful entity could make for having these streaming services to share their numbers. The NBA could actually say, "Hey, look, we need to push for this to be a thing," because the idea, we're not watching cable TV, bro.
But you know what's so sad about this, right? We're definitely gonna have to transition over this because this is we're completely gone, right?
Yeah,
and once I drop this knowledge on y'all, but the way I look at it, right, is like we got what the fuck we asked for. Because I remember back in the day, I was looking around and being like, yo, I ain't trying to spend all this money to have all these channels from one provider. Like, why don't I just buy what I want to watch?
Yes.
And that was cool for like 3 days, and then these companies was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
yeah, we could rob y'all, and
Yeah.
and then drag up the prices, and now this is the only place you could get our stuff. And
Yeah.
now we're
And
looking from the outside in like, holy shit,
we were
this is
wrong.
basically the same bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could imagine, not for nothing, all of this all comes down to money at the end of the day. Why
Yes.
is it fragmented now for the NBA? The NBA has their own subscription service to watch these games. You can buy that service and still not watch certain games from your team in your
Yes.
what? Like,
Yeah.
that is bullshit, and it
Yeah.
is criminal greed, if
Yes.
anything, that they have to blame. Because yes, the NFL also has split platforms, right? But I think it's a little different than the way the NBA is running things, and I don't know, man.
I do think the NBA could learn from the NFL. I agree. Because they're doing it at a better. They're taking a better path to making it happen for fans, and I think the NBA needs to learn from that for sure, because it doesn't make any sense that I can access more football games here just on Paramount Plus or Peacock or whatever. I can access more NBA NFL games than NBA games right now
Yep,
outside of the
100%.
NBA app.
Yep,
That's crazy.
yep. And honestly, I still don't feel like the vibe around the NBA has changed. Like, I still feel the
Yeah.
fandoms are there. I still am having these conversations on the regular, but maybe it's just like an echo chamber thing, right? Like, because we're in the inside, we're all screaming because hey, this should be getting better. And obviously, as a business, if you as NBA fans, we want the business to do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But keep fucking around with All-Star games and shit like this, y'all might keep going down,
I'm
right?
telling you, man, they're gonna lose viewers.
We can only have hope, but with hope comes a side note, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Nick Wright on the First Things First podcast for giving us this topic of conversation, because it's only right after discussing the NBA Cup. We got a little more nuggets on this. So, Nick Wright said on the show that LeBron winning this and caring, and then Giannis winning it and caring, I now think the standard is set moving forward. This is a thing you need to have on your resume if you're a great player. Now, that quote is easy to take out of context and react to. So I'm going to talk more to the spirit of the conversation. I think ultimately, um, the fact that two previous champions and the are the leaders of the teams that won these cups, I think does to the uninformed eye give it a certain gleam.
Mm,
I wonder if the trend doesn't continue, if it's still looked at that way. Personally, I think the basketball that we see during the NBA Cup is different than what we see during the regular season. And I
mhm.
think it is refreshing. I think it changes the viewing experience, and you're looking forward to more things, right? If you have more things to be invested on, that in theory is good. Um, but to be at that level, to say, you need to have your all stars this X amount of times, you need to be a all NBA player X amount of times, you gotta at least have made it to the finals. Like, I think that's a silly way to look at it. But
Mhm.
I think if any of these accolades are on your resume, it's certainly boosting it. No?
The NBA Cup?
Yes.
No, because like, all right, we only have two NBA Cup champions. I mean, and now the shirt says Milwaukee Buck 2024 champions. That's absolutely insane to me. But now we have two. We have the Lakers and we have the Bucks, right? So far, what we've seen is one team, the inaugural champions, win the cup, and then go on to do nothing, right? Milwaukee has won the cup. Will they go on to do nothing? Is the question. I think, like, we have to add context to it as well, because while I do think that the NBA could raise the value of the cup and make it a thing that people will be proud to win, I don't think that's going to be anything that happens anytime soon. Because if we're looking at it, if the trend continues to where the NBA Cup winner goes on to do nothing, how much value does the NBA Cup actually have? I think it's silly that the Lakers raised a banner for it, right? Time will tell if the Bucks do, but if you're not doing anything that season, the cup value goes down, in my opinion. So I think that if we were to see the NBA Cup to become something that's as prestigious as the NBA championship or an all-star nomination or NBA all like whatever we talking about. If we were talking about that it has that same weight, then it means that team has to go on to do something. Conference finals appearance or a finals appearance. There's like something's got to come out of it. Because to be honest, if you just get to the first round and get knocked out, no one really cares that you won an NBA Cup that season. Imagine being
homie on a 14th spot in the bench is loving it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because he won $500,000. Like I think that's great. I think that's amazing. But imagine being a fan of one of these teams and like your team gets bounced out of the playoffs in the first or second round.
But at least we won the champions.
What?
I totally get where you're coming from. I think for this to be a statement I would be willing to subscribe to, it would have to be considering an NBA Cup win on the level of like an all-star nomination. But even then, to say you need to have this on your resume to be considered a great player is just stupid as fuck, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of great players that definitely don't have a lot of big accolades that big players do, but they get it in other ways, right? So at the end of the day, do your shit, be yourself, and all these things will figure itself out. I think the prestige of the NBA Cup comes from the way, I guess, the feeling in the air. And I think these games matter. I think when you're watching these games and you're seeing these people go crazy, they do matter. Even if there was fucking 200 empty seats on for the finale, you couldn't have comped somebody's brother's cousin just to fill the seat. But no, apparently Vegas at that time is still pretty busy. But yeah, man, I think as far as the product, the people care, right? The players involved do care, even leading up to the championship sort of bracket. But in that same tone, to be considered anywhere near the level of a NBA Finals win is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you'd almost have to add some type of merit to it, like being an All NBA player. That determines how much money you make, right? Like that impacts your contract, or it can impact your contract. Maybe if they're that weighed in on that as well somehow, maybe I could see it being something that people cared about on that level. But to be completely honest with you, like I think it's a results based thing. Let's see what happens with the Bucks this year. Let's revisit this next year. If they get bounced out the first round or whatever and do nothing in the playoffs, all that we have to go on is that the NBA Cup is a nice participation trophy throughout the season. That's it. It's just another way to get energy up for the games in December. And that's it. Because it has nothing to do with the playoffs. It has nothing to do with even the All-Star game. So yeah, but I mean, first thing they need to do is change the color of those doggone courts, bro. Like just if you want to change it, just have the cup in the middle like they used to do with the finals with the trophy, Larry O'Brien in the middle. Just do something like that. You don't need colors. You don't need colors.
Shout out to, I forgot which coach said it. Was like we're descending into hell.
Yeah, it was Steve Kerr going to Houston. yeah. Like, hey, let's adjust that.
Tighten up. We gotta, but we can improve. I think as far as the last 2 years, though, I think this is a success, bro. I enjoy it. I have fun.
Yes. Here's the thing. I enjoyed it too. I think two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Always improving. If not,
Yeah.
you're dying, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
But with all that, I think you could say the same about this show. We're always looking to improve. So it's only right that we move on to our week 16 NFL extravaganza, ladies and gentlemen. And that begins out in LA, Los Angeles, with the Broncos going on the road to meet the Chargers on Thursday Night Football, the home of terrible football Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get into the specifics of this game, it's only right we give a standings breakdown as listed currently. Both Derrick and I came off of week 15 going 12-4 with the
Hey.
exact same record, exact same picks. We swear we were not phoning it in. That's just great minds. Sometimes this shit happens, right?
Yes, sir.
So the current standings are as follows. I'm sitting at 150 wins, 77 losses to bring me to a win percentage of 66%. Let's go. Well, my guy Derrick is sitting at 143 wins, 84 losses for a win percentage of 63%. I had a conversation with
Oof.
Sean about this, right? I had a conversation with Sean about this because
Yeah.
right now for our dynasty MMA fighters, we're sitting at around 62 and 61% lifetime as far
Oof.
as players that we've picked and their win percentage in fights afterwards. And he was asking me, he was really bummed out, right? And this year he did way better than I did. Like he won the overall standings, but because of my lead from last year, I'm still ahead for the total. So
Mhm.
he was like all bummed out. And he's like, like, what is a good percentage? And I'm like, bro, anything over 50. So the
Yes.
fact that we had 66 and 63 respectively, once again shows we are giving you good plays to run to the sports book with, ladies and gentlemen.
Most definitely.
But with all that being said, let's jump right into Thursday nights. I think obviously the talk of the town are the Broncos with Bo Nix and the things they've been able to accomplish on offense. I will say the story for the Broncos as a team, more so than one side of the ball, for me at least, is their resiliency. I think this was a game that they should have lost against the Colts,
Yeah.
but they found a way to rally through some unfortunate mistakes, right? I'm looking at you, Jonathan Taylor, dropping
I'm
the
about to say
ball.
he definitely helped them out.
Yeah, how the fuck does this keep happening? Shout out to him in the interview though. Afterwards, it just can't happen. And I'm like, but it happened.
But it happened, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel him though, because I think that's a stupid fucking rule at this point. Like, it's a stupid fight, especially when you're walking in like that. Like, there's no chance that that could have been a fumble under any circumstance. I've never seen anyone just fumble on their own. Have you ever seen that?
No, but at the same time, just hold on to the ball.
Right? Hold on to it out of spite and then hit your dancey dance, right? You could easily throw it wherever the fuck you want at that
Can
point.
you imagine anybody that had him in their fantasy lineup?
Bro, I've seen people that lost out on thousands because of it. So,
Bro. Oh my God. Nah, man. Just run through the tape. Just run through the tape. Once you get in that end zone, then you celebrate. Don't there's no need to be prematurely celebrating, bro.
I feel that. I feel that. Get the job done.
God
But
dang.
that's what makes the Broncos special this year. If you ask me, no matter what's going on, they find a way to get the job done. And I think defensively, they're a really good team. Um, this is a weird matchup, right? Because
Yes.
I definitely do trust the Chargers, but I don't trust the Chargers at the same time. I think this is a team that their identity has been, pounding the ball. And ever since JK's been out, it's been harder to do that. Obviously, they're in a little bit of a better position this week. But you're coming up against a really tough defense too. There's playoff implications for this game, big time. Both of these teams are in the wild card race, so I think this is going to be a hyper competitive game in that way. I don't know who's going to come and execute though. Like, I feel like this should be an offensive game. Personally, I'm kind of leaning towards betting the over on this one just because I'm trying to have some fun tonight, tomorrow
Yeah.
night, right? I'm trying to have some fun. Like, let's fucking ride. But I'm ultimately gonna pick. I'm gonna ride the hot hand, bro. Give me the Broncos on the road. I think this is a tough pick for me to make because I like both of these teams, but I think ultimately especially on Thursdays, man. Comes down to what team's going to make that play. And I think the Broncos have made more of those moments this season.
I'm be honest with you, man. Because it's a Thursday night game, I like this is this is what makes this pick so weird. Is because you really don't know who to choose in this sense. And usually, it's the team that you shouldn't be choosing that you should choose that actually wins. Um, I'm going with the Chargers, though. I think that I think they have to pull this off. I think they have to pull this off. Like they are a good team, and I shouldn't be choosing them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I should be choosing the Broncos, but I'm gonna choose the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert. He's still a little banged up, right? The ankle's still going on.
Yeah, he's banged up. J.K. Dobbins still out. Obviously, you got the Gus Bus and Kimani Vidal back there with the run game. And shout out Will Disley back on the lineup after getting injured as well. So a little banged up all around, but some players coming back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb. I gotta try and close this gap. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers and pray to God that they actually do something. Derwin James, please prove me right.
I like it. You got to get those points however you could get them. Next up on Saturday, we got 2 games, ladies and gentlemen. I was shocked to see this myself.
Yeah.
Double take on this shit real quick. We've got our first early window with the Texans on the road against the double champ, the Kansas City Chiefs, as strong as ever, chugging along here. Excuse me for not getting that one up. Who do you got, Derrick? Because I love this matchup, and I have a lot to say about it.
Man, you know what? This one is difficult to choose, as well, because the Chiefs haven't been playing well all season. And Mahomes is banged up. He's been practicing all week. Personally, I don't see it actually working out for him. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Texans on this one. I think this is gonna be a close game. I think that they should be able to win this game. Because to be honest with you, the Chiefs are not. They don't intimidate you this year, right? And I'm gonna tell you what, if Wentz has to win this game for them, I don't know about that. I don't know right now. Because I ain't seen Wentz play in a while, bro.
Even when you did see him play last.
Well, he played. Look, he stepped out on the field.
Yeah.
I think he was 2 for 2 for passing, but it's garbage time, and it's not really happening anything at that point. Give me the Texans on a whim. I really don't trust the Chiefs. I get their record, but I don't trust the Chiefs at this point.
It's all fair. It's all fair. I understand. This is weird, bro, because I agree. I'm underwhelmed, but I am impressed. I think, yeah, man. If the Texans would get him though, it would be with Pat Mahomes all banged up. So I get those angles. I'm just gonna ride it, bro. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs again. No pause. We going full Pat Mahomes. Take me homes. All right.
Yeah.
Because the refs will find a way to make it work no matter what. Shout out Joe Mixon though, because I think Joe Mixon has been cooking so much that people have this weird misconception that CJ Stroud is having a terrible year. He's not having as good of a year as we thought he might have, but he's not having a terrible year. It's just because Joe Mixon is balling. So
yes,
I won't be surprised if Texans win this one at all. But fuck it, let's go head to head. The first 2 games, Derrick.
It's about time.
For real, it's about goddamn time. Next up, we move on to a game where I hope we don't have any disagreements on. We've got the Steelers on the road at M&T to face my Baltimore Ravens, and you already know, coming off of 5 touchdowns, all passing. Rashad Bateman. You can't fucking Cover this man. The most reception. I mean, excuse me, the most separation by any wide receiver on routes run this year per PFF. Shout out.
Yes.
Um, I'm very hyped. Clearly, I think no matter how you cut and slice this, everyone's all hyping Josh Allen up, right?
Hmm.
Oh, I've seen the Family Guy edit where you see Peter talking. He's like, yeah, he runs the ball well for a white dude, and then you see Josh Allen pop in. I love it. I love all the support. But there's no doubt in my mind that up to this point of this season, Lamar Jackson has better stats and has better stats than he did the 2 years that he won MVP. So you're gonna tell me that narratives, I get it. You're in play for the number one seed, right? But you ain't there yet. I get narratives play a part of this, right? But to live in a world where my MVP does not become MV3 against someone whose stats are not as impressive in the microcosm that he's won this twice already, at this point it's voters fatigue, right? And you just got to expect it. I think this is the most impressed I've been by Lamar Jackson in his time here, and I think that's saying a lot. Obviously the bad games make you point the finger a lot, but I think as far as what we've been able to see him accomplish this year, it gives me so much hope for the future, because once you have this, like of course these kinds of throws and your arm power can regress, but honestly never saw him becoming this level of a passer. This is something we've never seen.
Hmm.
Like, everyone always talks about the comparison with Mike Vick, and I love that comparison. Shout out to Mike Vick, dude's a dog, and I can't imagine Lamar playing back then, like being real and being able
Yeah.
to do these things.
Yeah.
Um, but there's no comparison when it comes to what he can do now, throwing the ball on top of running the ball too. I say all this to say this is a fucking hard matchup, and this is my MVP. I think he should win MVP, but he's gonna have to play like an MVP for us to win this game. I think the Steelers have been historically a bad matchup for us, but we haven't played them at home
Hmm.
with fans since before the pandemic, and I think that's gonna play a big
Wow.
part in this game. Give me my Ravens at home. Fuck Mr. Unlimited.
I'm gonna choose the Ravens as well. Um, Especially seeing what my Eagles did to the Steelers. I have no doubt that that the Ravens will be able to do the same. However, I want to go back to the MVP conversation real fast, just real fast. Okay, who's your top three right now?
Fully biasedly,
Hmm.
I'm going number one, Lamar Jackson. Number two, Josh Allen. And number three, my favorite, Sean Barkley.
Okay, so I think we have the same top three, just in a different order, right? I believe that this will come down. 'Cause I was actually just talking to Jonathan about this other day. I do feel as if there will be voter fatigue, right? I don't believe that Lamar will get the MVP this year. Um, Bit of it is voter fatigue, but I believe the historic aspect of things is going to come into play. Now, what Josh Allen has done over the last couple of weeks has been very historic. He's gone on a real crazy run over the last couple of weeks. This whole season, the Bills would not be where they are right now without him. However, I do believe that Saquon should be the MVP.
Let's
Should be.
go.
He should be, especially if he breaks that record. And honestly, I don't know that he will break it. Not that I doubt him, but if I'm not mistaken, before last week's game, I think he had an average about like 125, 120 a game in order to be on pace to break that record by the end of the season. And I think Sunday he only got about 66 yards or somewhere in that range, 60 to 90, somewhere in that range. So I don't believe that. I mean, I think he can still do it, but I believe that there's going to be a point after this week that they are going to probably rest him, and that is what's going to stop that. Now, if he does break the record, there's no other person I think we should look at. And I have at that point I have Saquon one. I think I have to go. I might have to go ahead and put Josh Allen at 2 and Lamar at 3. And it's not at fatigue. It's when I think about these teams, right? I don't believe the Eagles are fully where they are right now without Saquon being there. I don't believe the Bills are anywhere near where they are right now without without Josh Allen. And I don't believe that the Ravens are where they are without Lamar, right? But I believe that the impact of the record is different without those guys on the team. Significantly more different without those guys on the team versus Lamar.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I have to weigh it that way, and I believe that that's why I have it ranked that way.
Mhm.
But it does not take away from what Lamar has done this season, because I believe that he is on a whole nother stratosphere. It's not a far cry to go ahead and say he's already surpassed Mike Vick. To
Oh,
be
that
honest,
was 2 years ago. Yeah.
yeah. So it's not something that is sacrilegious to believe, and then also say, hey, look, this man has already put himself in a place that if he were to retire today, that's a Hall of Famer, right? Um, but yeah, my MVP, I have it switched.
And you know what's crazy? I think this also plays because I'm sure Jonathan felt the same way about Josh Allen. I
Oh
think
yeah,
this
yeah,
also plays on the
yeah.
way we look at the standings as well, right? I
Mhm.
see a world where we finish this out the way we need to and we win the division. And I think that does a lot for our case. You see a
Yeah.
world where y'all win this out and y'all win the fucking conference. So
Yes.
that is the
Yes.
case on top
Yes.
of if he gets close to that record. I 100% see that too. So these last couple of weeks, there's a lot more at stake than just the record, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
different ways this could play out. And I think if these players ball out in these last couple of weeks, it very well could be the determiner if the team's success is also a part of it.
Yeah. Do you see them playing the next few weeks? All three of those guys?
That's a good question. I think um, if anyone's gonna sit, it'll probably be Barkley, right? Especially
Yeah.
if the record isn't in reach. Shout out Kenneth Gainwell. That motherfucker got some yards in him. He
Right.
ready to play. I don't know if anybody else is seeing what I'm seeing.
Yes.
That motherfucker is ready to play.
All
But
the time.
yeah. In a way that I appreciated before, but now I'm like, yeah, this guy on other teams will probably be getting a lot more run.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we gotta look forward to what we can get. I hope all these guys play, but if there's anyone I would say isn't, it'll probably be Shay
Yeah.
Sean Barkley.
Yeah.
Shay
Yeah.
Sean,
Yeah.
Shay Sean, shout out Shay Sean. You know where that's from, right? Like I'm not just annoying you right now.
No,
Have you
no,
seen that
no, you're
video?
not.
No
You're not.
way. Okay,
No,
okay,
no, you're
perfect.
not annoying me. No, I got you.
Shout out to that vid. Shout out. But next up, we move on to a game that we're not gonna get a passionate conversation out of. But Matt, I said Matt. Matt, shout out Matt Ryan. He got benched too. Uh, Kirko Chains, R.I.P. Right, one white. Hey, you see why I got that mixed up? Atlanta, one white boy
Yes.
fucked up Achilles. Right, we on the same
Yeah.
road
Yeah.
here.
We
But
are. We are.
Kirko Chains unfortunately got demoted, but this is great news for one Michael Penix Jr.
Yes.
I just gotta say, I'm happy for Michael Penix. I think this is going to be great, a great showcase against the Giants. But this is a sneaky trap showcase because
Hmm.
the secondary is good. They got Brian Burns still out there, right? They got a couple dudes that could fuck you up.
Hmm.
I hope that he is ready for this position for it to be a springboard. I think it will be. I think he's set up to do well here, right? He can't do much worse than Kirko Chains has looked.
Yeah.
But um, I will say I'm worried, right? Because this matters a lot organizationally. I think you put yourself in such a shitty position. And I
Yeah.
hope that this is just Kirk Cousins ultimately coming off of a bad injury and not being
Yeah.
able to play out the season, because there was a stretch in the middle there where he got healthy and things looked a lot better. Obviously we're far from that now, so
Yeah.
it's easier to be hasty. But yeah, when I look at this, man, I think this is a big game for Michael Penix. But I think for Falcons fans, this is also an even bigger game, because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If
Yeah.
Michael Penix goes out here and cooks, they're going to be looking at the front office like, but why we sign this motherfucker then? Like, well, 90 mil? Like, come on. And then
Yeah.
on top of it, if he goes out there and does bad, now you're fucked twice, right?
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you're in a real bad position. So I really hope that for Michael Penix's sake, he does well in this matchup. But ultimately, there's no reason for me to not pick the Falcons here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Falcons as well, because to be honest, I don't even think the Giants know who they're putting out at quarterback this week. They keep doing this carousel thing. But the financial aspect of Kirk Cousins, right? They got him this season for 62.5, and they're on the hook for him 27.5 next year. Like,
That ain't bad.
it's not
Not that you say it
horrible.
like that. That's not bad.
It's not horrible, especially when you think about the fact that even if they were to move on from him, and you still have to, you still going to have to probably pay out a little bit, and they're gonna have some dead money for sure. Oh yeah, if they release Kirk Cousins, um, with a post June 1st designation, they would have $40 million in dead money next year, and 25 million in 2026.
God damn.
Right.
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So I think that the caveat to it, though, is that this is the perfect time to do that,
I
right?
agree.
Penix is on a rookie contract. You're not paying much out in that position, anyway. So if you were to cut Kirk, and you're going to be responsible for that money, it's really not going to hurt you, to be completely honest with you. It shouldn't. I do believe that his regression has been because of the injury. One could say you shouldn't have paid him all that.
Yeah.
Probably should have put some clauses in there.
156 days out. Can you imagine an NBA player
Yeah,
signing a contract like that, like a 3-year contract, before
bro,
they even came back? Like, that's
yeah,
crazy.
I gotta see it, man.
You
I
can't
gotta
even,
see it.
shout out Ben Simmons. He ain't getting a
Hey,
contract like that. You know what I'm
nah,
saying?
nah. So I think if this were the time where they go ahead and part ways with Kirk Cousins, I personally don't know that they should. I think you still just keep him throughout the duration of his contract. But you're not spending too much. Like, it's not gonna kill the team. I think they still have some flexibility to do some other things next year anyway. So I personally think they'll be okay.
I agree. And especially after the dub, it'll feel even better.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got the Lions on the road in Chicago. I don't know what accent that was. That was fucking strange. Maybe it was just the ghosts of Caleb Williams' brain cells after all the things he's been dealing with, just hopping out, right? Just hopping out of me right there. I feel that.
Yeah,
Good luck to Caleb and his health with all the things going on, because holy shit,
bro.
uh, he is not the most sacked rookie quarterback ever, but shout out to David Carr clearly got that
Yeah,
milestone.
yeah.
But it ain't good being the most sacked quarterback in franchise history either, right? That's not a good
Nah,
place to be. So
that's not
um
bragging, right?
yeah, definitely he needs some help from the organization, but also um there's a big microscope on him right now.
Mhm.
It's so weird to me because I see the flashes as someone that is heavily invested in him in dynasty football.
Yeah.
I see the flashes, right? But I'm trying to see them. You know what I mean? But yeah, that we need serious help here, and that
Yeah.
makes me easily pick the Lions. But I do want to talk a little bit about that Bills game. Obviously, Bills are the Bills right now, and they're absolutely cooking, and I'm sure they feel great about that win. But their defense is going to assemble like the Avengers for the playoffs, and that's going to be a little bit of a different game. So I got to ask you, Derek, are we worried about the Lions, not in this matchup, but in the playoff sense of things?
Yes, I mean they keep losing players. You know what I'm saying? So what made them so dominant this run this season is the fact that they had all these guys healthy. So I mean, yeah, it's not going to show up in this game because it's the Bears, but yeah, after this game, I don't know who they have, but I can't imagine it being any easy matchups. Like you think about it, the Lions, the Eagles, and the Vikings are all tied for first place in NFC. So the next 3 weeks are going to be very crucial for all three teams.
Ooh, what a division, right?
Yeah,
They are what
yeah,
what I've been trying to tell everyone the AFC North is.
yeah, yeah. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy, and I think it's going to come down to the last game this season. So yeah,
What's your
yeah.
prediction? Give me a hot take and we'll move on.
Prediction about what?
Who's winning that division?
Uh, the conference itself, or the
No,
NFC, or
the
just their
division,
division?
just their division.
I'm gonna say I see the Lions losing at least 2 of the next 3
Hoping it
because of injury.
yeah.
So yeah,
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know why I'm feeling the Vikings right now, bro. But
I
we'll
know,
see. We'll see.
I
Holy
know,
shit.
I know.
Yeah, it was funny before we did the show rundown. My initial third topic was Justin Jefferson for president. That's literally was my third topic, but it's okay. We'll move on. Next up, we've got the Cardinals on the road against the Panthers. Holy,
Mm.
you ready? You ready to do this? Are we doing the coin flip bit? Because I got a coin. Can we
Hey,
do it?
go for it. Go for it.
Let's fucking do it. All right, I'm calling on mine, and then if you want to call on yours, brother.
All right.
You see this? No tomfoolery, right? We got both
Mhm,
sides.
mhm.
Let's fucking go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is good TV.
All right.
Oh, I didn't fucking call it.
Yeah.
What an idiot. I would have got it too.
All right, heads.
Give me. Oh yeah, this is heads for Derek, and it is unfortunately tails. So that means you're gonna be picking the Panthers. For me, I've got heads, and I got heads. So that also means I'm gonna be picking the Cardinals, and we'll move on.
Hey,
Cardinals,
why not?
Panthers. It doesn't get better than that. Shout out to my guy Marvin Harrison Jr. It only gets better from here. But Kyler Murray, during the midst of a Call of Duty season, I try to tell you. We'll
Hey
move
man,
on.
it's a wild time.
Week 16, Rams, Jets. This is an easy one on paper, right? Jets fans, for some reason, have beaten a couple mid teams, and now they got some pep in their step. Right
Yeah.
now, they're feeling good about themselves. I think this is where um, the Rams take them out back, point to the tree, and say, pick one, right?
Yeah.
Because it's that time. I think this is going to be a big win for the Rams on the
Yes.
road. Let's fucking get it.
Yeah, I'm going Rams as well. There is no way they lose to the Jets.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, no matter what your vaccination status is, it ain't going to help you in this match. It ain't going to help you.
No, in fact, he might need a couple of vaccines after this matchup.
Yes, sir. He's going to be real sick.
He's going to
after
be real
this one.
sick. Yeah.
On week 16, we get another divisional head-to-head banger. When we were looking at this schedule earlier this year, this game didn't matter, but it matters a little more now, Derek. Why don't you
Yeah.
tell me how you're feeling coming into week 16 against the Commanders? Is this like when you walk in, right? It's Thanksgiving night,
Mm.
right? But it's Christmas. We're closer to Christmas, right? But let's say we're all meeting for Secret Santa, right? We're a little earlier than Christmas, you know.
Mhm.
We meeting up for Secret Santa, and then you notice your younger cousins here too, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can't wait to see him. It's been a while, you know. And then he pulls up, and he got a ski mask on, right? And you're like, bro, like, I know you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he like, and then he's like, nah, like, and and then he ups the fire on you. So how do you feel about this dynamic between the Eagles and the Commanders, and having to take the Commanders as a team a little bit more as a threat?
As a threat, like, I mean, they're a good team. They're the second best team in the division. Um, but we've already seen what this looks like.
I was about to say,
Like,
is that hard to do?
no. Not at all. We've already seen this matchup this season. And I saw a Commanders fan the other day say that Quinyon Mitchell is going to have uh, a tough time with Terry McLaurin. We've already seen that.
Yeah.
I don't
How
see
could you
that.
confidently say that?
It's the delusion for me. But hey, look, I like confidence. I like people having confidence in their team. But that's delusional as hell. So yeah, man, give me the Eagles, bro. I mean, I don't see this going any other way. I really don't.
I can't wait to watch snowfall upon the Commanders wide receiver room, because my boys are going to be out there locking dudes up. You love to see it.
Sir.
And it's only right that we move on to another divisional matchup. This one, a lot less people care about. We got the Browns on the road against the Bengals. This game means a lot for the Bengals. There is a world in which they can make the playoffs. It requires them to win out, as well as the Chargers or the Broncos to lose out. So whoever loses in this game, they need that team to lose the rest of the season. And they need to win the rest of the season in order to find themselves in a way in the playoffs. I don't think that's fucking happening.
Nah.
But good luck to you guys. You got to win here first. And honestly, the Browns fuck around and fuck around. I think they could win this game. I'm going to pick the Bengals, though. I think they're the safer pick. And Jamar Chase has been on an absolute fucking heater lately. I'm a little nervous because I'm facing him in fantasy this week. And I'm like, please chill. Especially with the way the Browns defensive line is looking after Myles Garrett was a little banged out last week. I'm a little nervous, right? This can be bad for my fantasy hopes. But as far as the outcome, I'm pretty confident that the Bengals should win this one.
Yes. I'm going to choose the Bengals, but it's not as if I'm really confident in that team. I'm confident in Jamar Chase. I think what makes me lean more toward them than the Browns as well is how many times Jameis has been picked off the last couple of weeks. That's something that you just can't do anyway. And I mean, this is against a team that doesn't have a defense anyway. So if you get picked off by them, like, God help you. I do believe that it's going to be interesting, but they're not winning. They're not winning out, and I don't see them getting to the playoffs this year, bro. I don't see
They're
it.
not. Shout out to Logic for that stat, though. I know you need it. Right? I know you need it. He's also in our. I don't know if you saw this today. He's also now in our OTS Supremacy League. We are also going head to head this week, me and you. I don't know if you knew that. So got even more of a fucking rivalry. Yeah, I think we're already out of the playoffs though, but this is like a consolation match.
Yeah,
going head to head. But it's okay. It's all right. I'm gonna still want to cook you. You feel me? I'm gonna still want to get this dub. But shout out to Logic for taking over one of those teams that unfortunately was not with us. Right? And I hope that guy's okay. I hope somebody can reach out to him, right? Find out if he's good. But hopefully we don't have to have anybody else replace him. We are solid moving forward. But yeah, Bengals, you got it. Next up, Titans, Colts. Right? Mason Rudolph is the starter. Wait, I also forgot to mention this. I'm gonna run it back real quick. Browns, Bengals. We'll talk a little bit more before we move on. Sorry to pump fake you, Eric, but I gotta say, there was a benching at the end of the last game for the Browns, right? DTR was brought back in. I don't know if there's official word on whether or not that meant anything or that was just garbage time. But what do you think about the idea of the Browns potentially benching Jameis instead of riding with him in this position? I ask you this because I think it's fucking stupid. I think you already know what you got in DTR, and hey, he could be a good backup. But if you want Jameis to potentially be the starter next year, let him fucking go and let him try to figure it out. We know that this is who he is, right? But you need him to get better. Why not give him those reps? You kind of know what DTR is going to give you.
Look, bro, you're already out of the playoffs.
What are we building towards here?
What are you out? Like, give the man the reps. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And side note, real quick, no pun intended. I do believe that because I watched that game, well, majority of it last week. Um, and when Myles Garrett got hurt, it was because of the eye poke, right? I wanted to ask you something real quick. Should we not just have mandatory visors in these helmets?
That's a great question. I think so. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think with people with certain vision issues, it could create for depth perception issues, which I get.
Mm,
Especially after you are smudged up by someone's finger that's going to end up in that same place
yeah,
regardless.
yeah, yeah.
But I think that's an interesting solution to explore. A solution needs to be explored. I
Yes.
don't think this is an epidemic, right? I don't think
Yeah.
guys are just getting poked in the fucking eyes or mouth
Yeah.
on the regular.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, I mean, just I'm talking about just in terms of just trying to avoid issues because that was a very bad eye poke. Um, I like that would be something that I would think just make it mandatory, just to have a visor, or at least have an insert inside the helmet where it's like,
Mhm.
a visor that way in case you don't want the I'm assuming the shape of the visor would be the thing that's also causing depth perception issues for certain people. So if you have like a flat type of piece or something like that in the helmet or whatever, might not be the most convenient thing, but doing something to help
Look at you
of
too.
avoid
Ever the capitalist. You're making jobs, right? We're gonna need a windshield wiper out here once
some-
these visors are implemented.
something, bro. Hey, look, I'm always trying to think of some solution, right, man? But it just doesn't make any sense to leave yourself open for something that doesn't need to happen. If you're, of course, you're not, it's not your hand's not supposed to be that far up into the mask anyway. But if it does slide up, like it
Mhm.
did at that time,
Things
and
bounce. Yeah.
it bounced, yeah, like hey, it bounces right off. You don't even you know
Yeah.
wipe it off, keep moving.
Yes, sir.
So
And that's what the Titans are trying to do this week against the Colts. They're trying to wipe it off and keep moving. Wipe that stain of mayonnaise off of their body. Just another team, right, that is forced to deal with the late season quarterback woes. Another team that is so far out of the playoffs that it makes no fucking sense. But they have announced that they are ending the Will Levis experiment. The Mayo Man is done for with Tennessee. I think he'll end up somewhere else as a backup in some capacity at some point.
Mayo
But
expired, huh?
oh man, yeah, who would have thought? I didn't know. I thought the shelf life on those ran long.
Yeah, I thought so too, but I guess not.
But yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
Mason Rudolph, I guess, is going to be the guy starting here, which is better for my Calvin Ridley in the first round of the second round of the fantasy playoffs thing.
yeah,
But
yeah,
besides
yeah.
that, none of this matters. So good luck to the Colts. Hopefully they could bounce back after what was a really tough loss last week. Self-inflicted wounds almost. They went out like Plaxico, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, they should definitely win here, right? You're going with
Yeah,
Colts too?
Colts as well. Yes, sir.
Yeah, too easy. It's too easy. We saw that one coming. Derrick did not see that transition coming though, because god damn, your boy's working over here. But next up, we got the Vikings on the road against the 12th man himself. And I ain't looking at you, Pat Mahomes. We've got the Seattle Seahawks and their raucous fan base. Apparently, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time a lot of players for the Vikings are going to be playing in this building. So an
Really?
interesting storyline there to look forward to, right? With all the hype of what comes with the 12th man over there in Seattle. But this is a fun matchup. I think this is going to be a very offensive matchup. Unfortunately, though, what makes this easy for me to pick is the Seahawks inconsistency, man. Like I could point to one thing or the other. Ultimately, it's been just inconsistency that has been the big harper for this team, whether it's the run game, whether it's the defense. It ain't the passing game, right? Shout out to JSN. This dude has been absolutely balling this year, making up for all of the fraud accusations last year. I think he deserves to be looked at as someone that you should look at as a top 10 wide receiver in this league because he's proven he could do it from all over the floor, which is floor, field, whatever the fuck you want to sound. Too much basketball lately, god damn it.
Yeah.
But to be able to do what he does on offense is really cool to watch, and to see him sort of emerge as this guy in front of DK Metcalf really speaks to how serious this is. I think any quarterback moving forward is going to be able to get big numbers with JSN on their squad. But ultimately, I think the same thing exists with Sam Darnold's run here. And I think ultimately we've seen Justin Jefferson absolutely come out of his shell these last couple of weeks after returning. And I think that trend continues here. Give me the Vikings on the road.
Yeah, give me the Vikings as well. I believe Geno is hurt anyway. I think he's a knee issue. So give me the Vikings with this one.
I just got to say before we move on, the one trade that makes me really fucking happy as I traded Geno Smith this year in that league that I don't have a first round pick, that I also made that Christian McCaffrey move in where I finessed with some picks. I traded away Geno Smith, so now I need a second quarterback, which is a terrible position to be in a dynasty league. I got to be honest.
Yes.
But I got Puka Nacua for it and a second rounder. So I got some big time returns here, and I think I'll take that trade any day of the week, especially with the other trades I got. So we rolling.
That's a good one.
We rolling, baby. Next up, we got the Pats on the road against the Bills. Sooner or later, Derrick's going to be fucking shoot me in my head if I talk about Dynasty one more time on this show.
Nah,
but we get to,
I love it.
we get a divisional matchup here on Sunday in that 4:25 window. This one's easy. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, give me the Pats. I'm just playing. Give me the Bills, bro. Ain't no way.
Hey, good luck to those fellas, and I hope a lot of them keep their jobs. We got a lot to build, and I think the morale is high in New England despite the L's on the record.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Next up, we got the Jaguars on the road against the formerly Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. It still feels so bad. I don't know why I'm hyping this up like it matters. Go ahead.
This is a horrible matchup. Actually, give me the Jaguars, bro. They just put Max Crosby out in the pasture. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. Shout out to Mac Jones celebrating plays and then just absolutely losing the game right here. First down, baby. But yeah, it doesn't even matter. Speaking of first down celebrations, right? I just got to say, we just talked about them, so I'll bring it back up. I don't care. We're all over the place here today. Dalton Kincaid's touchdown catch celebration over those two defenders, bro. You got to count them up real quick. Yeah, we going this way. That was fucking.
But you know
awesome.
who did it first?
Of course. Someone's got to take credit. No, nothing is original, ladies and gentlemen.
AJ Brown. He made it popular if he didn't do it first.
Yeah. You love to hear it. Hopefully, the baby mama drama or whatever drama it is going on between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts has been solved. Because damn, he about to take Dominique Foxworth's wife, and he didn't even have to do nothing for that.
Bro,
so, man.
Yo, look, man, that's horrible. I didn't understand why Foxworth was so like against Jalen.
And then you saw the clip
popped out. I said, bro, because quick story here. Same thing actually happened to me years ago. My ex was like, I'm a huge Celtics fan, as you know. My ex had this crush on Phil Pressey. You don't know who Phil Pressey is, right?
I don't. Who the fuck is Phil Pressey?
So
I gotta look into this.
If you went through the struggle years of the Celtics, like over the last 10 years, you know who he is. He was a flash in the pan type of player. Came in, wasn't really. I mean, I think he's only in Boston maybe 3 years. And that was it. But the entire time he was there, or a good portion of the time he was there, my ex was always gushing over him. Made me hate not only Phil Pressey, but made me hate watching the Celtics, bro.
Damn.
I was like, you're not like she wasn't even a Celtics fan. She wasn't a basketball fan or anything like that. It was just like anytime she saw him playing, ooh, Phil Pressey. I'm like, bro, I'd be playing 2K and Phil Pressey be entered again to the game. I wouldn't give him the ball. That's how much like I hated seeing him pop up on my screen. And then we broke up, and I liked Phil again. I was like, hey, man, he's cool, you know. And look, he's on the coaching staff right now, so
Wow,
It's
that's
a
full circle, isn't it?
moment.
Wow, because I'm sure she's still watching the games, right? Like,
I don't
oh
know.
my God.
It
No,
might
man,
not
I'm
be. I don't.
joking. I'm making a
I
joke.
really don't know.
I'm
It's
sorry,
been
you
years.
don't give a fuck.
I
But
don't
I'm
care.
sure
Nah.
she is. And of course,
Look,
that's the
look,
only
look.
thing she has to talk
Phil
about.
got his ring. I got my ring. How about
Yes, sir.
that?
I was not.
I
Hey,
won in the
for
end.
that be.
Hey.
100%. 100%. I was never saying anything else. For that be. But I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure. When she's still watching, that's the only thing that fucking matters. But
Oh man.
the only thing that matters here, though, ladies and gentlemen, is football, week 16 specifically. And of
Yes, sir.
course, we got the 49ers on the road against the Dolphins in an absolute
God.
conquest to become a team that almost hopes to be relevant, right? This is the ultimate knocking off of someone in the same position as you match, right? This is
Yeah.
the loser goes home, winner feels like they won the Super Bowl because
Yeah.
they both need this big time to try to have a chance. I think the Dolphins are out. I don't know,
I
but
think they're out.
Niners are basically out too. They
Yeah.
only got a couple more.
Yeah.
But there's some scenarios, right? Especially with some interesting matchups. But I like the Rams this week. But yeah, I think this is a weird toss-up game, and team morale is strange with the Dolphins right now. They don't have that same spark since Tua came back,
Yeah.
and it doesn't. It's weird to me because I don't know necessarily how to pinpoint it. Like it's not necessarily like, oh yeah, he looks skittish out there. Like I just feel like this shit's just not working right now,
It's not.
and that makes me feel good about picking the Niners, but then I just don't feel good about picking the Niners ever. So yeah,
No.
this is strange. I'll take the Niners.
Yeah. I don't know who to choose in this one, bro. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tyreek Hill made a post suggesting leaving. So
That's
yeah,
hilarious, right? We're all playing 2K, baby. We're all
yeah,
just playing 2K out here. Fuck it.
yeah. Give me the Niners as well, just for the hell of it. But this might end up in a tie. No lie, like
I would love that. Just have a tie, have Tyreek Hill walk off on the field, and then
Tyreek,
maybe then we will be a little less surprised that a man with this many baby mamas does not have any loyalty.
bro. Look, how about you want to bet Tyreek going to run off the field the same way Antonio Brown did?
Oh my God, that has to be a prop bet somewhere. So somewhere you could get that for plus 20,000. I hope we get to see it. But hey, we saw that last week for the Niners, didn't we?
Yeah,
Didn't
he walked off. Yeah.
we? Bro, if the fucking Dolphins lose and that happens, I think like I'm gonna fucking spend every dollar in my 401k to promote this episode because clearly this only happened because we willed it into existence.
Hey man, how much you want to bet Tyreek is kicking himself for leaving Kansas City?
Oh, imagine that, right? Imagine taking a pay cut and chilling out there. He probably would have had like 15 touchdowns this season
This
alone.
season, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, shout out Xavier Worthy, though, right? Certain things are clicking.
Hey, it worked for them. Yeah.
Next up, we got a game that's a lot easier to pick this week than it was at the beginning of the season. We got the Bucks
Yeah.
on the road against Derek's favorite team to speak about. 1, 2, 3 Bucks. Right?
Bucks. Yes, I'm choosing the Bucks. There's no way in hell.
It makes me so happy to even ask you, right? To even throw to you, because why? We know.
Yeah.
And then, of
There's
course,
no way.
Monday night is following suit, but this is also a game nobody cares about. Shout out to Jake Hayner, the most absolutely suspect quarterback I've ever seen, right? When it comes to these photos, zesty as hell, but he was out there, you feel me? And now it looks like my boy Spence is back. So I don't even know who's going to be a quarterback, but we'll see. But the Packers should be able to figure this one out. I'm sorry, Saints. I like some of the individual pieces that you guys have, but you guys are like 3 years away right now.
Yeah, give me the Packers.
If you even get there, right? You're 3 years away.
Like, I don't know where there is for them, but yeah, give me the Packers, bro. I can't choose the Saints. I'm sorry, can't do it.
Wow, Derek, look at that! Just like that, we have completed another week of the Sideline Guys NFL edition, where we give you all of our picks and get you ready for the week. It's always a pleasure to look forward to the week, but most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, don't ever forget to show us support, right? We need to feel the impact of what we're doing, because I promise you, every single time we get one comment, one like, it means so much. So continue to show your support in those ways. Like I said, make sure you're following the brand OTS Media Co. on all social media platforms, OTS Media on YouTube. Derrick, remind the people on the way out where they can find you one last time.
Yes, sir. You can follow me at Derrick_OTS. That's DERRICK, the black way to spell it.
I feel like everyone's mom at the party when you're making a speech and they're like, no, like you're not done yet, and you're like, bro, I'm only 13, like I get it, he turning 18, but fuck, that's definitely how I made you feel just now, but it's okay. Follow me,
It's all good.
Negron MMA, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Chris Negron_. We'll catch you guys for week 17, but don't forget, coming a little bit closer, right? As we get out of here, don't forget, divisions are strong and friends are true. But Steelers, fuck all of you. We'll see you all next week. Bang.